Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, what's up? My name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. As you can see by the title, today I'm going to be showing you guys my long-awaited makeup tutorial for my wedding. As most of you guys know, my wedding is just around the corner and I will be doing my own makeup. So I have a mixture of high-end as well as drugstore makeup that's going to give you that flawless, long-wearing makeup. So I hope that this video is helpful for you guys, and I also, of course, hope that you enjoyed this video. So if you do enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so I'm super excited to finally be showing you guys like what I'll be doing on my wedding. By the way, if you're watching this video, chances are it's already my wedding week, so if you don't want to wait a couple months for my wedding video and you want to see the wedding kind of how it's going, make sure you follow me on Instagram because I'll be posting reels, stories, and actually TikToks as well. I know that some of you guys have to do your hair and makeup, or maybe you just want to, so hopefully I can show you guys and help you guys out with that. I also did want to show you guys that if you do have to do or want to do your hair for your wedding and maybe you're not the best with a curling iron, I have the best product for you that's literally going to do the job for you. So thank you to beachwaver for sponsoring this portion of the video. So this is the beachwaver, and I'm going to be using it today just to show you guys how I do some quick, loose, beautiful bridal curls. This is what it looks like, and it has made my life so easy. This is essentially a ceramic rotating curling iron, and it literally does the job for you. So today I'll be using the beachwaver S1.25, which is an 1.25 inch barrel. It does have this digital temperature adjuster. I'm going to go ahead and use 410 degrees. So the ceramic rod's going to help protect your hair, and it also has even heat distribution, so it's going to get your curl super nice. So all I'm going to do is grab a section of hair, and I like to hold it at the bottom. All you have to do is grab the clamp it down. I like to leave a little bit out, and then just press the button, and I want my curl to go out, so I just do it out. You wait a couple seconds just like a regular hair curler, and then you take it out and you have a nice curl. So this is honestly just the easiest way to do it. If you have trouble curling your hair, this is the way to go. The beachwaver is super easy to use. And then I'm just going to press this home button, and then it goes back. So on this bottom layer, because it is a bridal look, I'm gonna do the curls in different directions just to add more volume. And again, that's super easy to do because you can just press the other arrow to go inward. So I really love this product. It's really gonna create these gorgeous, beautiful waves in just minutes. And if you didn't know, beachwaver has won over 50+ beauty awards, so that's awesome. And just like I mentioned, all you have to do is press the button and you control it. It rotates when you press the button and it stops when you release it. You just hold it for a couple seconds and you have your curl. And then the best way for me to hold my curls is just to let the curls cool before touching them. And now we have our curls. So I'm gonna let them cool real quick, and then we can kind of run our fingers through them. Okay, so now that they're cooled, we're gonna kind of tussle our fingers through them, and they're gonna create these beautiful, beautiful waves. This is just super easy, super simple. And by the way, I don't have trouble with curling my hair, but I still use this product because it just makes it 10 times easier. But this is what it looks like, and I love it. Thanks again to beachwaver for sponsoring this portion of the video. Let's get into the makeup. So I'm actually going to start out with my eyes. Now you can go in with an eyeshadow primer depending on your skin type or what you're looking for. Tarte Shape Tape or just really any concealer works out perfect for me. I am going to go through this fairly quickly just because we do have a lot of steps and I don't want to make this video too long. And then I'm going to set it with a powder and we'll start out with some eyeshadow. By the way, I already have my skincare done. I have my moisturizer on and everything, but I am going to start prepping so that while we're doing the eye makeup, we can kind of let some of the primer sink in. So first off, I'm going to rehydrate my skin with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. This is expensive, it's not necessary, but I have it and I like it. It creates a really good base for makeup. Not only is it like really smooth, but it gives your skin a little bit of luminosity, and I've just been loving it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the skin and let it sink in. Okay, so for eyeshadow, I actually love this palette, but I've never showed it on camera. Just because it could be a little controversial because of the person behind it and the name. This is this palette. I'm not going to say the name. It is by JeffreeStar. I will link it down below. It was a gift, and I just think it's perfect because not only does it have a huge mirror, but it also has every possible matte, brown, neutral, and cool tone and warm tone shade you'd want. So I love this palette. I'm probably going to point at the shades instead of saying the shade names because they're very inappropriate. Okay, so I'm just going to start out with this shade right here. It is just like a peachy kind of neutral brown shade. And I'm first going to just blow that out. We are going to be doing more of a matte look with just a little bit of sparkle. And remember, we are going to clean it up, so don't be afraid to come all the way out here to make sure your blending is perfect. But I'm going to put this on the crease, and then I'm also, with every shade that we use, I'm going to kind of like wing it out because we're not going to do any like winged liner today, but I still like the look of a winged out eyeshadow. Now that we have that done, I'm just gonna grab a smaller blending brush, just a little bit more tapered. And now we're gonna go into this shade right here, which this is more of like a light chocolate brown. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but I'm gonna start out more on the outer corner to darken that, and then I'm gonna like slightly bring it in. We're just gonna kind of play around and just make like a nice light brown to dark brown kind of transition. So just do the exact same thing, and again, just wing it out at the end, and always go back in with your like original blending brush or with a brush that doesn't have any product, just to always make sure everything looks seamless and blended. Okay, and now with an even smaller brush, I'm gonna grab this shade right here, which is just like a darker version of the last shade we used, and it's also just a little bit warmer. And again, focus this at the outer corner, wing it out, and then just bring a little bit in. This is like a very simple look, but we're just doing it step by step so that we get just like the most like seamless blend. I'm gonna grab a little brush like this, and now I'm gonna grab this one right here. It's like a very cool tone brown, and this I'm gonna place very strategically. So I'm gonna put it along the outer lash line, but then I'm also going to bring it up just a little bit. And this is going to help us with that cat eye look. But then with another brush, I'm just gonna blend it out with no additional product. And this is gonna create more of that winged out smoky look without too much darkness. Okay, so now that we have that, we are just gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna grab a flat brush, and I'm gonna grab this shade right here. This is more of just like a very bright yellowy white. I'm gonna put this in the inner corner like this, but then I'm also gonna bring it about halfway in, and I'm really gonna pack it in because I really want to open up my eye. This is a really good like eyeshadow to do if you want the winged out look, but you also don't want it to like close off your eyes. This is like the best of both worlds. And once you have that, I'm just gonna grab again that clean brush, and I'm just going to blend the edges to have a nice ombre look. I'm gonna grab one of my favorite shades. Again, you don't have to use this exact shade, but my go-to is the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie eyeshadow palette, and I love this shade right here. It's a very shimmery shade, but what I like to do is add it to my finger and then tap it on. By tapping it on, it creates more of like a glimmering, glittery effect instead of like a solid shimmer, and I love that because when the light really catches it, it looks beautiful but subtle. And by the way, I'm just putting this on the inner half of the eye, just where we put that cream shade. You see that? And that's so pretty. It's very subtle, but it works, and that's why I like it, because I feel like it is very bridal. It's not too much, not too little. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is grab a waterproof gel eyeliner. I love my $3 one from Wet n Wild, and all I'm gonna do is line my lash line, but as close to the lash line as possible. And to make sure that this lasts, I'm gonna go into the black shade now of the palette, and I'm just gonna grab like a flat brush like this, and I'm just gonna tap it right over it. This is really gonna ensure for that liner to stay. So obviously for the wedding day, I will be using a waterproof mascara because I am a crier, but I hate waterproof mascara. So for the sake of the video, I'm not gonna use that today, but I would definitely advise you to use a waterproof mascara, even if you don't cry, because you could sweat, or I don't know, you just want to make sure that it doesn't run on you. So use a waterproof mascara. Right now I'm just going to be using a regular mascara, so I'm just using the Maybelline Sky High mascara, and we are going to be using fake lashes, so I'm just going to do a quick coat. So we are done with the eyes for now. The trick to this is cleaning it up. So I'm just going to grab a makeup wipe, and all we're going to do is clean up the edges. Just make sure that you keep that winged out look when you're cleaning it up. Okay, so as most of you guys know, I like to blur my pores with powder now. So for a primer for me is just to create like a really good base. I have normal to dry skin, so we already have that Charlotte Tilbury moisturizer that's synced in, and my other favorite primer that just makes everything look amazing is actually from Glow Recipe. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. I'm sure you've heard about this. This is skincare and primer, so you could use this before the moisturizer, but I like to use this as like a last step. There's something about I don't know what it does to the skin that everything else on top goes great. So that is all that I will be doing for primer. Obviously, if you have like oily skin or more texture, there's other things you could do. But for me, this is just what works. Okay, so for foundation, after trying so many from Sephora, I finally came across my favorite. And again, it is Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I have this shade 7 Warm. I think it's a little light for my tan right now, but I think I'm gonna lighten up a little bit before the wedding anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and use about a pump and a half, and we are just going to dot it. This foundation is super nice. At first, I was afraid of trying it because I thought it was only for oily skin, but if you have normal to dry skin, just go in with like a lighter layer and just make sure you hydrate, and you also use like a hydrating setting spray. And the thing about this foundation is that not only does it last all day, but it looks like velvet, and it also it just photographs really well. So I like to blend this out with a brush first, like every other foundation, and then I like to pounce it with a sponge just to get any excess out. And by the way, right now I am using the Undone Beauty Face and Body brush. So I know I'm looking a little yellow, but just remember, we make it work. So we are going to cream bronze and then powder contour. That is just what I prefer. So to cream bronze, we're going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Bronzer in the shade Caramel. And I'm just going to grab a slanted brush with it. And we're just going to start adding some warmthness to the skin. So I'm going to keep it pretty high up on the cheekbones, but I'm going to do the cheekbones, the temples, a little bit on the jawline, and of course the forehead. And that's going to be the base for our bronzer. If you do cream and powder, these products are going to last a really long time. So we are going to go in with a powder bronzer as well. So the reason why I also like doing cream bronzer first is because now we can kind of clean it up with our concealer. So I went back to my holy grail, my favorite concealer of all time. I just bought a new one. It's this one. This is the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use concealer. I do have the shade Golden Beige. I'm gonna go ahead and add some right in here around the nose, just because I have some blemishes, and then just a little bit right here, just to add some lightness without adding too much product. I do need to conceal out here, but I don't want to mess up that eyeshadow, so it's better just to apply it with a brush. And now I'm going to blend it out with a sponge. Remember, the lighter the taps that you make, the more coverage the sponge leaves. And then whatever we have left, I'm just going to put right under that bronzer just to make those cheekbones pop. Okay, so for powder, I have been really loving the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder. I have the shade Pound Cake. Let me tell you guys something. This is a great powder for longevity. It is a little on the drier side, but I fixed that with setting spray, so it's gonna look a little crepey for a minute, but it all comes together. The only thing I will say about this powder is that it has a very strong scent. It smells good, but if you don't like scents, this is not the powder for you. Of course, I'm gonna use a powder puff, so I like to grab a lot of product and then kind of distribute it on the back of my hand. And then I like to go in and I just press. And this really does give you a very airbrushed look. So we're actually going to do this for the under eyes and the rest of the face. Normally I would just go in with a brush, but because we want this to look as flawless as possible, I'm literally going to grab again that powder, pounce it on the back of my hand. And we are going to set all of the face, all of it. So now we look like a porcelain doll, which is always what we're going for. So now we're gonna go into powder bronzer. Just use your favorite. Mine is Hoola Caramel. I'm just going to put this where we put the cream bronzer. Because we already cleaned up that cream bronzer, I'm not gonna put bronzer over that highlight because again, that's really gonna like chisel us up. And because we already have that like base, you don't really have to add that much powder on top, which for me, it works out because, you know, I don't want to look too cakey or powdery. So for contour, this is like a true contour shade. This is the Colorful Contour by Sephora Collection in the shade First Touch. I literally just bought it and look, it already broke, but this is the shade right here. I'm just gonna put that right where the hollows of the cheekbones are. And just blend it up a little bit, and this will also kind of neutralize that warm bronzer just a tad. And then we are gonna put a little bit right here because apparently it makes your neck look skinnier, and it does. Okay, let's add a little bit more over here. Look at that chiseled neck. Okay, so now that we're here, we are gonna apply our first blush out of 3. I like to use a liquid blush, a powder blush, and then a cream blush, and that to me is a perfect combination for it to stay on all day. Because we have a lot of powders, I'm gonna grab just a little bit of Fix Plus just to add some moisture to the skin, have all these powders melt together, and then we're gonna go in with my liquid blush. Just a little bit, just to kind of melt everything together. I am going to make sure it dries a little bit before we use that liquid blush. Okay, so we're going in with the OG. This is the Benefit Play Tint. It's in the shade Play Tint. So we are going to add this as our base. So because it is pigmented, I'm just going to add it to my hand first. And then I'm going to grab a brush and we're lightly going to get some, diffuse it, and then we're gonna start tapping it on. And this is just a beautiful blush. It's gonna add nice rosiness to the skin. I am going very light with it because this is one of 3 blushes that we're using. But this is just like the holy trinity for me. Liquid, then powder, and then cream. And it lasts literally like till I wash my face. Let's move on to these brows. So first I like to add some like brownness to it because they are uneven. I'll just use the same palette to make it easier. So let's go in with this shade right here, just like a light brown shade, and all I'm gonna do is just even out my brows. And then I also like to use this time to kind of make a line at the bottom. This is just the easiest way for me to do it that looks the most natural. So now that I evened out the brows, now we can pretend like my brows are this even. And now we are going to apply some brow gel. My favorite is this one. It's the NYX Brow Glue. And I'm just going to do a slight feathering. I'm just going to lift them up a little bit. And with this brow gel, I really like to let it dry before going in with my brow pen. That is just what I prefer, so that's why we're doing this now. So we can let it dry and then we'll come back to the brows. So now let's move on to just finishing the lower lash line. You guys know with me, the lower lash line, I mean, I keep it pretty simple as long as it's nice and smoky. So I'm gonna grab a mixture of this shade and this shade, which is like the first 2 shades that we use, on a fluffy pinched brush. And right now, I'm just going to figure out how to connect my lower lash line to this cat eye and make it look nice and smooth, and then just bring it in. And now that I have the basic shape, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a smaller brush, and now I'm gonna grab this shade, which is a little bit darker, and just darken it out, starting from the outer corner, and whatever's left, bringing it in. Like this. So now that we are done with that, I'm going to use my go-to inner corner highlight base. This is my go-to for a long-lasting bright inner corner highlight, excuse me. This is the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick, and this one is in the shade, I lost the bottom, but I believe it's like Champagne Pearl. Of course, I'm listing everything down below. And I always add this to my inner corner before adding the shimmer shade, and this will just make it last all day, essentially. So I'll go in like that, and then whatever shimmer shade you have. Obviously this one doesn't have a shimmer shade, so I'm just gonna go into this Undone Beauty bronzer and use this like gold shade. The thing about me is that I will always have a very bright inner corner highlight. That is just, it's just my thing, you know? I will never go without it, especially not at my wedding. So before we do mascara, we're going to go back to the blush because we are going to blend this blush up. We have let it kind of sit and it kind of has dried already. So now I'm going to go in with like a very flimsy brush. This is from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill collection. And now I'm going to go into my powder blush. This is my favorite. It's the Revlon Marvelous blush. So I'm going to grab a little bit, place it on the cheeks, and then whatever is left, I'm going to blend upwards a little bit so that we have that seamless, blushy under eye. Going in with the lightest hand. It's really just so that I don't have like a really bright under eye and then a really pink blush. I like to kind of make everything look seamless. And yes, I am adding some on my nose. You don't have to. No, I am not contouring my nose because my nose is crooked. And so if I contour it, it just makes it look more crooked. So I just don't even contour my nose. I just don't like to add attention to it. That is the second blush. And now that we did that, we can go ahead and apply some mascara at the bottom lashes. So again, remember, use waterproof mascara. Today is not my wedding, so I'm just going to use whatever mascara I have. Now that we have let that brow glue dry a little bit, I'm going with my favorite brow product. This is a NYX brow right here. So this is my favorite brow pen. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen in the shade Espresso. And now I'm just going to kind of draw hairs just where I need them. It's just gonna add a little bit more of like darkness and some dimension. Alrighty guys, and now we have a fairly natural brow. I like to keep my brows natural nowadays. You know, they're still dark enough to show up, but I just feel like this makes them look as if my natural brows were bushy. So now we're gonna set the face. I'm gonna double set. First, I'm gonna grab the e.l.f. Stay All Night Micro Setting Mist. And then I'm going to use another setting spray to really lock it in, and this is the Milk Hydro Grip Setting Spray. Now this is going to add a lot of like hydration to the skin, so I'm going to let this dry before I finish off my makeup because as you can see, my face almost looks wet. So now that we have set, we're going to go ahead and apply the lashes. I will be using my Delarza Cosmetics Princessa lashes for my wedding. Unfortunately, we are sold out because you guys love them so much. So I found these that are very similar. These are the Ardell Mega Volume 259s. They are very pretty. I still think my lashes are a lot prettier, but this is going to give you a similar look. I have put some glue on my lashes. I prefer black glue, so I'll be using the Duo Brush On Glue. Now I'm gonna give you guys a tip, but you didn't hear it from me in case anybody gets an eye infection. Don't do this every day, but like I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. When I want my lashes to not move, I apply glue to my lashes and then glue to my eyelid. So I do the tiniest little bit because you don't want it to be too goopy. So I like to use the brush one, and I'll take off all of the excess, and where I have that black line of eyeliner, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue and it's going to stick on. And just the same way as you're putting glue on the lashes and you have to wait for it to get tacky, wait for this to get tacky as well, and it just creates like a magnet. So while we let this dry, as you can see, I'm very shiny because of that hydro setting spray, whatever. I'm going to use the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder, and I'm going to re-blur my pores with this powder and a puff, and really just anywhere that I want to blur. And then the last thing I'm going to do for blush, while this is all drying, is use a cream blush. So this is technically a liquid blush again, but it's more of a creamy one. This is the Grande Pop Plumping Liquid Blush in the shade Tiramisu. I'm just going to grab a little bit, again, put it on the back of my hand. So this is really going to seal the deal with the blush. Just press it on top, and let me tell you guys, your blush is not going to go anywhere. And because you are adding more of a cream on top of everything, this is also going to just give you like a natural highlight without having to use any shimmer on your skin. It's going to bring that skin back to life. We're almost done, guys. I knew this video would be long, but I mean, it's our wedding. We have to make it long. We have to take our time. Let's go ahead and apply these lashes. Apply them as normal. Again, it's gonna stick really, really nicely because you do have that glue on your eyelid. Alrighty, lashes are on. We're starting to look like a bride. So all we have left is a lip color. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off my lip balm. And I have found the best formula out there. So this is the most long-wearing, most comfortable liquid lipstick that I've found. So this is the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink. I have the shade Peachy. I like to use this first and then use my lip liner because this lasts forever. So if I put my lip liner on top, it'll last super long. I've noticed that when I do use a lip liner first, this doesn't fade, but the lip liner does because this honestly stays forever. So we're gonna do a very light layer. I like to add it on and kind of just blend it with my fingers. You don't need a lip liner with this, but I don't love the color by itself. So I am going to go ahead and do a lip line, but the key is to let it dry. So I'm going to let it dry for a minute or so, and I'll be right back, and we can line the lips. I am back. I decided to put on my bridal look so we can finish out this look together. So let me grab my lip liner, and we will be done. So for lip liner, I'm going to be using the Morphe Makeup Talk, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a little bit of an ombre look with this, and that'll be it. There we have it. We are ready to get married. Let's take a quick look. Look how beautiful the awakened bright inner corner with the subtle winged up, a little bit of that sparkle, a nice full lash, not too full, but nice and winged out. Perfect skin, a little bit of glow. As you guys can notice, I didn't put any highlight on because I don't want to be shiny, but I still have natural highlights of all the products that we use, and then a beautiful pinky nude lip. Yay! I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you're going to recreate this look. I love you guys. Again, I am currently at my wedding week, so go check out my social medias if you guys want to follow me around. And thank you guys so much. The next episode of my wedding series is going to be all about how the wedding went. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!